Yeah,
which is
that's
nice.
good to go.
That's nice. Yeah,
Good to go.
easy stropped while you're working as well.
Now let's see if I can go solo on this guy. Okay. All right. Is anybody out there?
Yeah.
Anybody out there?
Oh, there we
There
go.
you
The night
go.
doctor.
Hey man, hey Kevin, how you doing?
Nice to see you, Kevin. And Timothy, you're very welcome.
Hey, we're kind of worried about anybody showing up today. I forgot to make the popcorn. All right. So we're going to let a few more people get in here, but what we were thinking about talking about today is, what you guys like, uh, and talking about color and specifically, like these old vintage knives that had all that color in them. When did that come about? And kind of the evolution of it. Knife Doctor saying hi to you, Patty.
He is indeed. I gave him the thumbs up.
All right.
This is at the stage where I can still read this on the side. It's when I have to start talking, I stop reading.
You can't do two things at once.
Boy, Kevin can just switch in between it. I have to say, Kevin, your videography is getting better and better and better. You just go smoothly between each section, from cleaning to showing to doing box openings. Really great channel at the minute.
So,
yes, just
what are you carrying today, Patty? This is what I've been carrying. I'm still carrying this Cold Steel sow belly.
Lovely knife.
And a Randy's WSG slip.
I'm just carrying my old pocket carver from GEC.
Sweet.
And I've just had that in my pocket. But to be honest, I haven't got the knife I was carrying because I just put it away. The knife I was carrying all day was the Tactile Turn Bear. Was my big knife today.
That's a beast.
And when I say big, it is the thinnest knife you're ever likely to get. And yet, it is so comfortable in the hand. They have rounded it off. Honestly, the amount of work must have gone into getting these rounded off, because you could work all day with this. You're not going to feel as if you're cramped. I've never come across another knife that's so well ergonomically. It's just unbelievable what they've done with a skinny wee thing.
They've just come out with a flipper, a regular sized knife. I'm carrying this Buck Sprint Pro S30V.
Yeah, nice.
Look at the point on that thing. That thing is just stout.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm loving it. I've not switched since I got this thing. I've been carrying it for 2 weeks, 3 weeks now.
I can't remember the last time that I kept a knife in my pocket as long as 2 weeks. I think I just get bored very easily. And no matter how much I love the knife and I say I'm going to carry it for the whole week, I end up changing during the week. Now, it might come back in and out for a couple of weeks while I've still got that fizz on it. But
I like it too. I'm really enjoying it. And I got this, I think I got this last week. The GEC, not GEC, Case saddle horn.
Oh, it's just a bit. There's one that Kev would like.
Beautiful, beautiful knife.
Really is
1991.
beautiful. Like it just stepped out of the factory.
Yeah, it's in phenomenal shape. The
Yeah,
mirror polish on it is just, look at the mirror polish on that thing.
beautiful.
You know, it's a club knife, but still that's not a crinkle polish. So that's a hand mirror polish on it.
Hello, Johnny. You're very welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I can't remember. Was it you I was talking to earlier on today? I love a mirror polish. I think it looks absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
But I just got recently the little Moki, and the
Yeah.
mirror polish is just world class. I just think it's amazing.
Yeah. There's a difference between mirror polishes.
Look at that there. I mean, there's
Yeah.
looking at your face back through a couple of
Yeah.
but I'm too frightened to use a blooming thing. I never thought I would say that.
Yeah.
But you know, even cutting a bit of string, I'm frightened to use it because it just looks so beautiful. And you know, out of all the knives that I've got, I mean, this is about 150 pounds. This is probably going to end up a Safe Queen, my first genuine Safe Queen.
Yeah.
Because it just looks so beautiful.
They say a true mirror polish you can read off of.
Oh, you can
Where-
easy with this.
You know,
You could actually read off this.
oh yeah. Yeah.
Can't really get there.
I mean, you could see me in it.
And I've just got my mucky fit. But yeah, I think this might become my first genuine grill, or not a grill knife,
Mm-hmm.
a Safe Queen.
So let's go ahead. We're a few minutes into it. Let's go ahead and start talking about. You and I were talking about color and knives, and you know, when did that come about?
Mhm.
When did all this color start coming into knives? And it's kind of hard to determine when you look at that because you didn't have color catalogs.
No.
And so it's kind of hard to determine that, but I've got a lot of knives from the 1800s, and you don't see that kind of color, and then you start getting this, you know, all of this stuff starts coming around in the 1930s, 1920s with celluloid, and of course, celluloid. They first used it for to simulate ivory, so it was just yellow, you know, and then it was clear, and then they figured out they could do anything they wanted with it. This is kind of a gold color, and this is from the 1930s. That's kind of a purple and gray.
You see, I wonder, you know, you were saying about the 1800s, there was no catalogs, but you can sort of imagine that the thing would have kept the color off. It was back then, a knife was an expensive purchase.
Yeah.
And it was a work tool. It was never intended to be pocket jewelry or anything like that. It was to do a job, and that was it. So, you know, until he got to the stage where money became a little bit more accessible to the working man.
Yeah.
And then prettiness sort of jumps into it.
I mean, look at that and think about the Kernite that we see nowadays and how pretty it is. But I mean, it just does not compare to that flash and that color. It's so vibrant, you know.
And there's a question for those of you in the audience. Has anybody ever bought a knife based solely on the color of the scales? You know, a pretty color knife. That's been the deciding factor on the knife. It'd be interesting to see what other people think about colored knives.
Hey, Timothy, welcome to the show. Here's another one. So you got all these different colors, and then really when they start going away is after World War II. They're not using celluloid anymore, and so then they're just using Bakelite and a different formula for celluloid, but it's not as clear and pretty as the celluloid is.
There's Kevin's come back. OD green is his thing, or olive drab. That's a typical marine now, that is.
OD green. That's good, Kevin. You purposely looked for that in a knife. I do too. I like it.
I've actually been picking green knives this year because I never really had many of them. And I
love green bone.
I've got some. There's an example there, one I got earlier on the year. Look at that there for green.
Yeah.
Isn't that just beautiful? And what you can't see is like the lines in it are gold.
Mm-hmm.
Just beautiful, really lovely. And that's wood. I mean, that's beautiful wood. And then there's the latest GEC in banana bone.
Kelly green.
Yeah, just really lovely. And them too, I specifically bought because I like the color of them, especially.
Well, go figure. An Irishman would like green.
Yeah.
Hey, Terrell.
Oh, there's Terrell. Hello, mate. How you doing?
So, after the war, you get these kind of muted colors. This is a gold, but it's just not the same flashiness as the pre-war stuff. And here's a Camco. It's more of a solid, like Bakelite color. The colors are getting solid. And they continue to make this stuff, I think, up into the 50s, maybe even the 60s. I don't know.
I mean, that's pretty.
Yeah, it's called Candy Stripe.
Yeah, that's nice.
I always wanted to get one of these. I've got a few now, but yeah, they are pretty cool looking. But in the, after the 50s, it gets like this. This is an old Imperial with that wallpaper. Kevin's seen dozens of these. But here's one in Dalmatian, just not the same, not the same color.
Yeah, a bit flat with no depth.
Yeah. And here, this is one of the best Imperials I ever saw with the, this thing's like mint condition. You could see what that bone, that fake bone used to look like. We always see it, and it's yellow.
Is that Staggalon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks amazing, that one.
And this is that wallpaper stuff. But by the 70s, this is what it was like. Just kind of all bone, all dark, boring. And I mean, we love bone, but all of this is Delrin. Just boring stuff. Well, who else we got in here? Swamp Stomper, Patriot Knife and Tool. Yeah, I had a green Candy Stripe right there. That's unusual, ain't it? Remington Pyramite. That's just celluloid. That's the hint is in the name Pyra, meaning fire. Pyramite. That's kind of funny.
Terrell says you brought one of your smaller drawers out. Yeah, he always goes skimpy when I'm on. I think it's a man thing. It's funny, you're talking about 70s. I think this is probably somewhere around the 70s as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty.
It
Really
is.
pretty.
They are pretty.
And then there's another wee teeny one, but I just loved it because it was the old type of cover. It's the tiniest wee knife. But this is the sort of knives that I know it's going to sound silly. I mean, most of the knives that I would have had when I was younger was sort of about this size. And to be honest with you, we even bought them too because you would get, they were just pennies. And 9 times out of 10, we blunted our knives within a week, and that was it. They were too bad to use. The steel, half the time, the steel you couldn't sharpen. So,
Well, to be fair, you were smaller back then.
probably a lot smaller back then. Yeah.
Yeah, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
Those little tiny knives probably didn't seem that tiny back then. So then in the 70s is when these collector knives start coming in all kinds of fabulous colors again. So, what do you guys think? I mean, do you like colorful knives? Or me and Stephen were talking about it, and I'm kind of this kind of guy right here. I love these beautiful classic bone knives, but I also like color. I like to have a little bit of color in there.
Very much. I mean, there's a Spyderco, which is a sort of modern slip joint, but the color in them scales is just beautiful. That's that camo carbon. It's a jungle carbon, I think they call it.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's got movement. It's probably not the right, but it really has movements. The colors change as you turn the knife around. It is a stunning little knife. Plenty of color. Were there many small makers in the 70s in the US? Well, I would say there was plenty more than what there is now. In fact,
Yeah, I mean, A.G. Russell was a knife maker. A lot of people think of him as a dealer, but he made knives to sell in his backyard. And there were a lot of guys like that. The guy who come up with the improvements on the Michael, what's his name? Michael, I can't remember his last name.
Not the frame lock.
Yeah, he made not the frame lock, but he made improvements on the slip, the liner lock.
Liner lock, that's it. Yeah.
What's his name? Michael.
Oh, I can't get it now. Now you've started.
Anyhow, there were tons of people like that.
And what you see in America, especially in America, where it was so much bigger than here. When did the shopping channels come on where they were selling knives? Was that the 70s and the 80s when they came online, or was it after that?
I want to say the 80s.
Yeah. I mean, and that must have been a big boost for people just on their TV seeing all these brightly colored knives, because that's what's sold on the TV.
Because Jim Frost is the one who started that.
Yeah.
And so he was out on his own, and that was after 1978. Yeah.
Chuck Buck personally designed several Buck models. Yeah. Yeah. And he was the same. He built it out back as well, didn't he? In his shed.
Well, they still do signature models. What do they call it? The CEO's model or something like that. They do a signature model.
But on the whole, there was lots of smaller factories making knives. OEMs, if you want to call them. There was lots of them.
I mean, you look at Edwards. I can't remember his first name. The guy that Jim Parker hooked up with. He was bringing Damascus steel back, and that's what he was involved in. And he had a pretty good size going concern making Damascus steel. So there's always a lot going on like that. Guys start out just as a hobby making a knife, and then some of them just go on to be consumed by it. And there's always thousands of those guys. If you look at
Yeah.
any decade, there's you see them all the time. Like I'm fixing to go to a gun and knife show Thursday, and there'll be all kinds of custom knives there made by little guys you never heard of. You know,
Yeah.
never heard of them.
Yeah, I went to the Sharp Show over here last year, and it blew my mind because there was so many people just at the Sharp Show that were makers I'd never heard of, and yet some of the quality of stuff they were putting out there was just amazing. Now they can charge for it, but it was amazing what they done.
Mm-hmm.
And in the sort of in the chat, there's another question. I love bone, much like Mike. I really do like colored bone. I think it's amazing when they can get the different colors in the bone. And I think it sort of brightens up your day when you have something that's really colorful, maybe unusual to what you don't have in your collection. But I'm very much into block colors as well. I was saying earlier on, here's something that's a very modern knife, but that electric blue in it is absolutely stunning. And it was the color that drove me to this knife because it's aluminium, but you can see the deep grooves and the color just adds to it. Yeah. Really a beautiful knife.
It's big, you know, not necessarily color like this, you know, but colors are really big and nice. I was showing you how, you know, in the turn of the new millennium, you know, Buck got a hold of that Karenite, not Buck, Case, and started making those Karenite scales on knives. And I kept saying, you know, if these guys would get into those colors, they would sell these knives like hotcakes. And really, you know, Bark River, you know, has made a business out of these scales, fantastic scales.
Yeah,
and a lot of color. They use a lot of color on them. And this is my Carta, but it's still very colorful. See if I can get that in for you.
Yeah, you got it.
So that's called snakeskin, and it's red and brown and green, and it just looks awesome. Really, you see it right there a little bit. Not the best picture, but.
No. And Timothy's on there saying Stagallon. There's an Uncle Henry in Stagallon, and it's as nice as any bit of stag you're ever going to see. It's just lovely. Real pretty little knife.
Yeah.
They really, and the newer version of it, I don't like. It's too white.
Yeah.
I do like this version by far.
Yeah. That Staglong in the 90s, it seems like had a lot of orange in it, and they just look fantastic.
Yeah. Yes. What else we got here? Keep looking for something that's a wee bit different. I mean, it's saying there has been color around even before this sort of more modern knives, because this has been around for years. Do you know what I mean? These scales have been around.
Yeah, abalone.
Abalone has been around for years.
Yeah.
And it is one of the most beautiful knives I think you can buy and look at. This has so much movement in it. It's just beautiful. This is an Ashley Harrison one, and I have to say, it's one of the nicest bits of abalone put in a knife that I've seen so far.
It's so expensive now.
Yeah, really is getting pricey. But like you were saying, I mean, you don't even have to go back to the 70s, 80s. This is a modern, this is a GEC. It's about 4-year-old or something, I think. I can't remember when this came out. Let me just have a look.
What is that, a GEC?
Yeah.
I love abalone. I've got some really good examples, and it just...
Yeah, that's 2018. So, I mean, and this is a love or hate it with GEC. There was so many, it was probably split half and half. Some people thought it made the knife look cheap, or there was people like me who just loved it. That's a jolly knife. A jolly knife.
That's the way it usually goes. You know, they on things like that, it's either everybody loves it or everybody hates it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of middle ground. But I love that. Now I probably wouldn't carry that around a whole lot. You
Uh-huh.
know, I mean, I don't know. I like bone. I like this old bone. That's
Yeah,
what I carry. And I
most
don't.
of my good knives are bone or wood,
Yeah,
but I'm actually getting into this colorful thing. Every week I just seem to see something else. And then even Jack Wolf came out this month, and this was just I just
yeah.
adore this.
And look at how those sell. So they're all full of color,
Uh-huh.
and that carbon fiber. It just
Yeah.
sells like hotcakes. But I don't know. Maybe it's the traditional guys are a little different. Maybe traditional guys, they're just not going that way. I don't know. But you know, you look at these knives. I mean, that's a nice red and black micarta,
Yeah.
and the wasp, and
And,
these things sell good.
and if you want a knife that's a beater and you're going to hard use and whatever, they're the perfect thing. And the micarta on them is just fantastic.
Yeah, I like that.
That is pretty.
Kind of a southwestern motif, and then this was a new one I did. This thing is just absolutely fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Carbon or copper, and then you have a copper swirl
swirl.
inside there, and it's just, man,
It's
that thing is just
they
awesome.
done a blue one as well, which I think you like.
Yeah, that's called the Celestial. I'm gonna get that. That has a lot of color.
That is an amazing knife for the price. The work that goes into that knife.
Mm-hmm.
It's just stunning. Are they heavy? I
That.
always stopped getting them because I thought they looked incredibly heavy. Are they a heavy knife?
Yeah, it is heavy.
Yeah.
That's all nickel silver.
Yeah, it's just an amazing. If I had a shelf where I put up nice shiny knives, that would be on it.
Yeah. I had a display case in my living room, and I took it out because I wanted to refinish it, and I haven't refinished it yet. But I would take, and it would hold about 24 knives, and I would put knives in there, and then in a couple of weeks I'd switch them out and put other ones, and I really liked doing that, where they were just out where I could see them. And the funny thing is my wife would feel compelled to move them around, right, so they look better, right? She was nesting in my knives.
That's kind of near divorce, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sometimes they don't realize how lucky they are that we have the patience that we have.
Man, I tell you, I put a sign up there too. It said, number one rule, don't touch the knives. That was the number one rule. I'm like, babe, there's like 10 rules there. You've already broke rule number one.
Hey, where's mine? I haven't put it back up yet. I have one of those, it's got 10 rules about knives, and they're all don't touch my knives. I can't think where it's gone.
I don't know where mine is. I got it somewhere, but yeah, I've got one of those. It's pretty funny.
So yeah, I mean, I can honestly say that the color of a scale has tipped the balance in me. But I mean, I love this pattern, a 56 pattern. It's a beautiful pattern knife with that reverse dog leg. I mean, it's just gorgeous knife, and it would be nice in any wood or bone, but in this here, to me, it just made it stand out even more to my eyes, and it definitely influenced me buying this one.
That's not your newest GEC though, right?
No, this is my newest GEC here, but then again, I mean, this is banana bone, but I mean, a lot of the people got them with nice bright yellow and all in them, but I was disappointed when I first took it out.
That's green apple.
After a while, the bone has so much in it. There's veins through it, and you can see it all. And I'm over the moon now with it, I have to say. It's like a pre-ripened or unripened banana. I just love the color.
It's green apple. It's like it's got
Yeah, it looks
just
more like
enough
green apple.
green to take the yellow out, but you can
Yeah.
still see the yellow, and it's
You
really
can,
pretty.
yeah, I have to say, I haven't had it in my pocket. I just adore it. And then you got knives like this. Does this count as color? This is my channel knife.
Yeah,
This is the Medford slip joint. Uh, their take on a multi-tool, which I adore. I think it's just a super knife. Very simple, but it's really effective, and it's screwed together. So the construction for a small multi-tool is just super. Really great in the hand.
well, it's color's good in a like these knives here. I mean, it's just good to have
Yeah.
orange in a hunting knife. When you drop it, it's easy to find.
Yeah, I always find it
Amazing how
strange.
quickly you can lose a knife in snow. You would think snow is white,
Yeah.
but no matter what color your knife is, but man, I'll tell you what, they can just disappear in snow.
It always sort of it makes me question hunters because an awful lot of hunters that I see or I watch on TV, they've either got wooden brown handles on their hunting knives or they have green, like OD green or whatever on their
Yeah,
knives, micarta and things like that. And I often think that's not the color I would take out into the wilds with me. I think
yeah,
the chances of losing them is, you know, I'd rather have a luminous yellow one and maybe have a chance of seeing it, or a bright blue. I mean, that color would stick out like a thumb in the middle of a forest.
yeah. That's true, but it's really probably just the past 10 years they started putting color in
Color on them,
hunting.
yeah.
You know, and even modern folders. I mean, for a long time it was black,
Yeah.
and OD green and tan, and that was it.
Yeah, when titanium came along, it
Yeah,
made everything go bland again because everybody wanted titanium.
yeah,
So every company was putting out titanium knives to get a bit of the market, and it just killed the color.
yeah. I don't like just the titanium. I like the titanium with the color in it.
Uh-huh.
You know,
Yeah.
like anodized bronze or anodized green, or
Yeah.
I like a color in the titanium.
I
The
love
titanium
titanium.
is light.
I love it when it's been tumbled and then you use it and it starts to really show the wear. But
Mhm.
then again, I know it sounds a bit strange, but a lot of people are not gonna spend £300 on a titanium knife and then use it. Whereas this knife is just gorgeous. It
I don't
really
know.
would
I'm
make its wear.
I'm really blown away by the number of people that are carrying around high value knives. Using them.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
have to
I
say,
wouldn't. I've got so many knives. Yeah, I got this buck. Why? Of course, this is $100 knife, but I mean, I don't know that I carry around a two, uh, $300-400 knife like a Chris Reeves. And
I sort of think now that um, financially I can afford to do it every now and then, buy a knife at that price. And it just seems such to me now. And I know I'm different to a lot of people, but there's another crowd that are in my camp that's to buy that sort of a knife to just look at would sort of defeat the object for me. I'd rather buy, if that was the case, I would like you buy $150 knife, which will cover anything you want to do,
right,
anything.
right.
Absolutely anything now. The quality of £150 knife is beyond what I got 10 years ago. You would never have thought of what you could get for £150 knife.
Yeah, in our community, I think there's a lot of people who like the buck 110. I like a buck 110. I like the weight of a buck 110. I like that heaviness in my hand, but I don't think a lot of people uh, carry. I think more and more the young guys are carrying modern folders out
Yeah.
there, rather than a buck 110.
And I tried the Buck 110. I didn't like it. It was just too big for me. I never felt comfortable. This is the Buck 112 I got this year. And what a different knife. It's not much lighter than the Buck 110, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
this is still 6 ounces. But I got it in S30V, and boy, it's just, it bites into wood so beautifully.
Yeah,
It
they're good
really is.
knives.
But it's not something I would carry on my day to day here. It'd be something I would take to the woods, or take, if I'm going camping. It's
Yeah.
that sort of knife for it. But I mean, oh, it's just beautiful.
There's still a lot of people who use a knife heavy, in the trades and other things like that. Hey, Philip, so I think there's a lot of people who would like a 112 or a 110 when they're working out in the field. I think a lot of cowboys carry them.
We haven't got any cowboys over here. I'm definite on that.
Yeah.
Well, we've a lot of cowboys, but they're usually well dressed and in a pub at the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello, Philip. How you doing? And Jason, how are you? My son carries a Barlow like me. That's the way sons should follow. He's a man of great taste.
Is that Granddaddy Barlow or a little Barlow?
You're talking about sort of Barlow. There's a Granddaddy Barlow Rough Rider make. That is one of the nicest Barlows that Rough Rider make, with the ram's horn bone.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I like the horse.
I got a trapper in that.
It is just beautiful. And it really does fit your hand beautifully. Beautiful big knife. And not too frosted edge. That's one thing I cannot get to like. I'm not a frosted edge person, but this is pretty nice, I have to say. But just a super big knife.
They're kind of cool, but they'll wear out on you. Hey, Philip. I always also have a Saudi Junior trapper.
Yeah, it's funny. I've just been thinking a lot about the Saudi Juniors, and I've just bought a custom knife that I'm going to do a review of Monday of next week. And it's a near copy of a Saudi trapper. I'll maybe even show you that.
I've been looking at a lot of them, a lot of the Saudi type knives. I'm really thinking I want one that locks. Like a Kissing Crane or something like that.
Yeah,
but I want a full size one.
There's a Saudi trapper, and there's a custom I just bought. It's an English custom maker.
Mm-hmm.
And they're nearly identical in size, in look, in blade shape. But when I was buying it, I couldn't have seen a trapper in it when I was buying it. It was only when you got it in hand and put it up together, they're exact, the handle is nearly the same. I know it's got a bolster, but the blade shape's nearly enough the same. And
that's an awesome knife.
And this is just beautiful. This is a fella called Xing Chan. He's from the UK. And he's been making custom knives full time for about 15 years now. He got made redundant and decided he would take his hobby into a full-time job, and he's been making knives for 15 years, completely self-taught, which is a rarity. Most custom makers go through some sort of, well, he went through his own apprentice, if you like. He was practicing from when he was a child up until he went. But just beautiful. But that Saudi pattern is one of the best working patterns I think there is out there.
Swamp Stomper wants to know how much you pay for your Crocker slips.
My what?
Your Crocker, Steve Crocker.
Steve Crocker? Where is it? I haven't got any Crocker slips. I've got is he talking about these new leather ones that I've been getting recently and showing? This is MJ Hoods, and this is a leather maker by trade. I mean, and this one's got a clip on the back of it, but he also does them without clips. It's really sturdy, hard leather. This is not your flimsy leather.
But he's local, right? He's local.
Yeah, in the UK here. And his prices for what you're getting is just amazing. I think his base price is about 35 or something, but that's Really, really good leather and really well made. He actually makes leather hoods for birds of prey. That's his main, his main job is making the hoods for eagles and all your fast flying birds. Can you tell I'm a bird man? Your fast flying birds.
Yeah.
Hello, Randy. How are you? And Randy and his cohort, I've forgotten his bloody name again. He's going to hate me by Thursday.
Alien Outlaw.
Alien Outlaw are on
Jesse McJames.
Are on this Thursday on our channel over in the UK.
He's going to be crushed.
What, did I forgot his name?
Yeah.
I forget everybody's name. Just think how my wife feels.
That's why I call mine Honey.
Yeah. Look, it's even worse. My grandchildren, 9 times out of 10, I can't, the ones that you don't see as often, and those other grandchildren, because some of them live far away and whatever. See, trying to remember all their names, I have no chance.
Hey, Kathleen. I'm with you, Michael. I love a canoe. I think it's great. I mean, my favorite pattern is a sow belly. It just works so well. But man, I love a canoe too, and I think they're just great EDC knives, easy to put in your pocket.
Well, I love a canoe, but very rarely carry one. I think it's the most loved knife that's not carried by so many people. You very rarely see people doing a pocket dump with a canoe.
It's got such a stout blade. It's
a beautiful knife.
Made for EDC.
There's just not that many use them. I mean, how often do you see them even on the channels? Very rare. Hey guys, how's it going? That's driver 38. You're very welcome, sir, if you are a sir.
Yeah, he is.
And Philip, is our Kathleen in as well? I missed Kathleen. Hello, Kathleen. How are you?
He's my neighbor.
Right.
Driver 38. He's over there in Alabama. So, if you go to a family gathering to get a date, you might be from Alabama.
Yeah, we have a place we say that about too. Yeah.
I live in a tri-state area, so I'm in Georgia. You got Tennessee to the north and Alabama to the side, and we all just poke each other,
Yeah, well, our next town across, Newton Ards, it's called. We always say you have to check their fingers before you leave the disco. Some of them have 6 fingers. They're odd.
What do you think about the old swing guards?
I've never had one. Never had one.
I have. I like them. They're pretty cool.
It's not something that's ever. I like the idea of them, and I think a lot of the ones that I had seen, I think you have to pay better money for one because the cheaper ones tend to wobble a lot.
Yeah,
and that would do my head in.
Yeah, the cheap ones. I don't know. I think they started out. Man, they go way back, but I think they got popular in the 30s as hunting knives.
Uh-huh. But did they not come in sort of at the same time with the Italian stilettos and things like that? Was that not sort of they made a reoccurrence again then?
Yeah.
I mean, that's another thing I don't have as an Italian stiletto. They're illegal over here, but it's something I would have in a collection.
I've got one. It's not a very good one. It's a Kiss and Crane. I looked and looked and looked. There was a period of time when it was really hard to find in the United States. It was like COVID hit right at that time, and you couldn't get anything out of Italy. Hey, Mr. EDC.
Yeah, MBEDC.
EDC.
He's doing a lot of little pop-up lives he's doing now, maybe once or twice a week. And they're very interesting. He just gets somebody on the cuff that night and said, you want to come on for a half an hour? And they really are enjoyable.
I'm liking Patriot Knife and Tool too, man.
I don't think I'm sub to Patriot Knife and Tool.
You ought to check them out. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
This is the other reason I like this sort of where I get to see different people. Right. Patriot. Patriot.
See them?
Patriot. Is it Knife and Tool? Or is it?
Hey, Driver 38, are you going to that knife show Saturday? Gun and knife show in what is that? Camp Jordan Arena. I'm gonna go to that.
Is this a big knife show, Mike?
Nah, it's a little
No.
one.
What do you call a little one? Because that can often dwarf what I call little.
Yeah, it's about the size of the one you go to.
About 60 or 70 stalls.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice size.
I guess it's about the size of a basketball court in there. Camp Jordan Arena. It'll be pretty cool though. It's been hard though because I'm not buying knives so that I can go there and buy knives, and then you got to go all week without buying any knives, and it's just
No, you're supposed to go all week without buying any knives.
yeah, it's driving me crazy. I ended up I bought a really nice Model 63 case in Stag. I'm gonna get that Thursday.
Patriot, I am now 1004. Go over and check out Patriot Knife and Tool. Give him a sub. Check him out and see if you like him. I've just seen a beautiful boy's gun, and it looks stunning. But yeah, he's got his pen knives as well, fishing knives there. Yeah, look forward to catching up on you.
All right.
So out of all your colourful knives that you have in front of you, what knife would you pick as your favourite? And I mean one knife, not two, one.
Me or
you? Yes.
The knife in front of me right now?
The knives you got in front of you, what's your favourite?
Excluding the hunting knives, right?
Well, no, the hunting knife's your favourite. That's absolutely fine.
I'm gonna go with the pocket knives, and man, that's a tough question.
Isn't it just?
You know, that's a really because I got some GC ears too, you know, and GC I have is pretty nice. I'm gonna go with that new case I got. You know,
that is nice. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with that. Oh, where'd my stream go?
Geez, I'm gonna have to pick one for myself now, aren't I? I think I've got it
right there. Look at that. That's a 1991 case saddle horn. My first case saddle horn.
I think I only have one saddle horn. That's the Shotton Morgan.
Look at, man, that polish on that blade is phenomenal.
It really is, yeah. That looks every bit as reflective as the Moki.
I wonder if you can hear it. Let's see if you can hear it. Did you hear it?
Yep.
Yeah. I think I would have to go with that right now.
Well, I've already showed this, but I think I would have to, again, I've got to step back to my sort of traditional roots because they're the knives that give me the most fizz, to be honest. It's as simple as that. And I got this just recently and I adore it.
Oh, yeah.
It really is a beautiful Shotton Morgan, Barlow, and the back of that I just adore. This is probably not doing it justice. It is a beautiful burnt orange, especially on the front. This is all very orangey in the center here. And it's just a beautiful Barlow from Shatton Morgan. Obviously made by Queen, but beautiful, beautiful knife. That would probably be it. So far. Could change tomorrow like everything else in my collection.
Philip, where you have a gun and knife show about a mile from your house this weekend?
Thanks, Patriot. What's Patriot's name? Because I can't keep calling him Patriot. I sound like some sort of
I don't know.
Type your name down there, pal, so as I know your name in future, which I'll probably forget.
He may not want you to know his name.
He will. It's Paddy. He knows I'll forget it. I'm the safest person to give any information to. There's nobody else watching. There's only us and him. He doesn't realize that.
But you're not really right either, so people know that about you. And
Randall.
Yeah, that's a good knife.
That's a very beautiful looking knife. To me, I wouldn't be buying it for. You'd have to be a collector to, one, pay the money, and two, the steel is not the best on. And I know it doesn't matter, and I said all the time it doesn't matter. But that is an exhibition knife, which it really doesn't matter. To me, that's going to be on a plinth on top of your fireplace or something. That's where I see a Randall knife. I just think they're stunning. But
my dad carried one for 30 years.
It's not great. That is just great.
Carried it. I bought it for him. And he carried that everywhere he went. A big old Bowie knife, Randall Bowie knife. But I'll be honest with you. You know, I carried that knife and used it. And I don't see where, the Bark River is far behind Randall knives. You know,
Yeah.
I just, they're a well-made knife, but I think it's another case of where the hype may be, I don't know. I haven't looked at a Randall knife though in about 20 years, so maybe it's
I have one of their books in there. One of my subscribers sent me, and he collects Randall knives. And honestly, some of the knives he has are just stunning.
Yeah.
But it's like everything else. It's not my cup of tea. But in this hobby, never say never, because you genuinely never know where you're going to end up.
Yeah, you get tired of something.
Yeah. I mean, this must be the hobby that gives you so many different avenues. The best hobby with so many different avenues you can go down, and then you can come back in again and head off somewhere else. That's the joy of it. I don't think there's ever a run out period on your collecting, as long as you like knives.
That's how I got into traditionals. When you look at these traditionals, and that's just scratching the surface. They're different sizes, they're different colors, they're big, they're small, they're hundreds of different patterns of them, and they're old ones, they're new ones, and they're just so much to them. And then you have the history, that goes with that.
Yeah.
They have fabulous histories, and I mean, like this one right here is marked World's Fair, and with a 1933 date on it. So
that was the year my daddy was born.
1933.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, I can't really see. I still like modern folders. I still buy them. Every now and then I pick them up.
And even when I'm not looking for them, something I guess comes up that I've wanted for years, and I was able to snag it. I mean, it's one of the nicest button locks I've ever held.
It comes across your desk or your view.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a problem with me. Is like this thing was not on the radar when I went to eBay. So, I was looking for something else. And then I saw that and I was like, wow. And
I'd just like to mention Kathleen here, who somebody amazingly gifted her a Jack Wolf Little Bro What an amazing gift, and well done to that man. That is fantastic because Kathleen will love it and cherish it for the rest of the time. That is just an amazing gift. I
Yeah.
love the little bro. The little bro is just amazing. Lovely little knife. A real proper EDC knife.
Yeah, that tribal lock doesn't really get as much love as it should.
That's
There's
one
not
I
a
want.
lot of difference between that and the copper lock, really.
No,
They're about the
no.
same size. I had one of both.
It's one I want this year is the tribal lock. I haven't got one. Never had one. I've got the copper locks and I love them. I think they're just beautiful knives.
It's
Big and
different
small.
now, because it's the tail of it is wider, and copper lock is more of a thinner, jackknife. But
Yeah.
man, I tell you what, I had to. I was making runs up into Canada, and my typical knife is like that Recon 1, and I couldn't carry that up into Canada, so I was looking. I needed something that was not scary and would lock, right? And so I settled on that copper lock, and man, that thing's a fantastic EDC knife. I loved using that thing.
There's one just for anybody who doesn't know what a copper lock looks like.
Mm-hmm.
This one has the Wharncliffe blade, but beautiful. This is a copper head, sorry, but it's the same size as the copper lock, which I have over there. There's a sink. God, this is a copper head.
Is that the Turnlocks Army and A-locks? Is that slippery?
No.
It's because it's got like that frag pattern on it. It's so tight it grips you.
It's really, really nice, and I find it quite grippy, I have to say.
Yeah.
Beautiful knife, really nice. Once you push your thumb into it, it'll actually stick. It'll stop your thumb. It is just a load. But then again, I mean, it's not a knife you're going to do very hard work with, but you could do if you wanted to. And the A-locks blades are thicker than the normal blades. That's the thing that's nice about the A-locks. They're thinner, but look at the blade on that. That's still quite a good stock for a small pen knife.
I plan on getting some more A-lockses.
Yeah, I had quite a few and I sold some there, but I got the electrician's knife this year in the A-locks, and I have to say I love it. And you get the two blades, but the bottom blade, the small blade, is a wee electrician's knife.
Mm-hmm.
How dinky is that? And that's great for whittling or whatever. Do you know what I mean? You have your main blade for everything else. And then you have that, which is really, I just think it's a lovely combination. And it also comes with a punch as well. So it's a really useful tool. There's a lovely one that I managed to pop out. That was at night I was on going through all the things. That's the IXL.
Yeah, you don't see them very much.
Version of it. It's got the saw on it, but the blade on this. Look at that blade on that for a Swiss Army type knife.
Yeah.
Hollow grind, saber and a hollow grind. It is just stunning. Look at the thickness of that for it. Really is good.
I've got one in black.
Love it. Have to say, really do love that.
All right. I appreciate everybody for dropping in and saying hi. And a lot of good information on knives there. And we're going to call it quits. We like to keep it about an hour. And otherwise, we're just talking to hear ourselves talk. So,
that's never stopped me.
No, this is not a good thing, especially for me.
Plus the fact I've been poorly for about 5 or 6 days. So I have to say, unusually for me, I'm ready for sleep.
I appreciate you being there. I know you're still oozing.
That's enough of that.
You're wounded. You're wounded.
Wounded, a wounded soldier.
Yeah. So that's a trooper right there. Shows up wounded to get the show done. They don't know, do they? They have no idea what we go through to put this
No, absolutely not.
wounded. It doesn't.
Yeah, we'll leave both our checking account details down below if you want to add anything to wounded knife soldiers.
Wounded knife soldiers. All right, guys, we're gonna give you a few more minutes to say bye to your friends, and then we're gonna end the stream.
It's been nice to see some new faces in there tonight too that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and see when you come on next Thursday, or if you come back again, hopefully, if we're not subscribed to you, give us a shout, because I love to go and subscribe to you. That's part of the journey in this knife hobby. It's just subscribe to somebody, see if you like them. You mightn't have to watch them a whole lot, if you're not particularly keen on them, but give them the subscribe and the like and the comment. It makes everybody's life so much happier.
All right, guys. Thanks again. I really, really appreciate you for checking in.
Now, is that us? Or are we